Welcome to Lesson 3 of the Befriend course. In our previous lesson, we learned about the formula of friendship, the 4 factors that determine how deep our relationships with others become. However, even if you follow all 4 factors perfectly, you are still not guaranteed to make friends. That's because there is one rule you must follow to make sure you're building friendships instead of making enemies. This is called the golden rule of friendship. A couple of years ago, I hung out with a girl, let's call her Stacy, who told me she struggled with making long-lasting relationships. Stacy didn't have any childhood friends, she didn't have any high school buddies, and even her coworkers rarely asked her to hang out. She always felt like the people she befriended never stayed loyal to her. At the time, I didn't understand what she was doing wrong, but after years of learning about social skills and thinking back on how Stacy interacted with others, I realized it was because she constantly broke the golden rule of friendship. The golden rule of friendship is simple. If you want people to like you, you have to make them feel good. If you make people feel good, they'll want to be around you. But if you make people feel bad, they'll start avoiding you. It sounds simple, but many people break this rule without realizing it. Stacy broke this rule in 3 different ways. 1. Bad body language. Stacy had what we New Yorkers call resting bitch face. A subtle frown combined with glazed over eyes that stayed on her face most of the time. The body language she showed made it seem like she wasn't interested in what you were saying and that she wasn't happy to be around you. When you talk to someone who looks uninterested or unhappy, you start thinking, is what I'm saying boring? Is she even listening to me? Should I just leave? When this happens over and over, you instinctively begin avoiding that person. Nobody wants to talk to someone who seems uninterested in them. In the next part of the Befriend course, we'll go deep into body language and exactly how to fix this. 2. Making everything about herself. I remember a specific interaction with Stacy. I was telling her a personal story about how I did poorly in high school, how I didn't have much of a social life, and how I eventually made changes and got out of rock bottom. This is a story I rarely tell. It's something personal and meaningful to me. But halfway through, Stacy interrupted me and started talking about her own struggles in high school, how she had it worse than me, and how her rock bottom was deeper than mine. Most people enjoy talking about themselves. It feels good to tell a story and have someone listen. But when someone cuts you off to talk about themselves, they're doing 2 things. First, they're showing that they don't care about you or your story. Second, they're asking you to make them feel good without giving anything back. If you constantly redirect conversations back to yourself, you're asking people to give you attention and emotional energy without returning it. This was probably the biggest reason Stacy couldn't maintain long-term friendships. 3. Talking too much about negative things. There are thousands of things you can talk about when you hang out with someone. The topics you choose matter. Stacy loved talking about how she used to be skinnier, how her hair used to look better, and how things used to be better in the past. When we went out to eat, she complained about the food and criticized the service. She was negative about almost everything. When you talk about negative things, you bring negative emotions into the interaction. Anger, jealousy, sadness, disgust. When you share negative stories, you don't just share the words, you share the emotions behind them. If you talk about your dog dying, people feel your sadness. If you talk about being cheated on, people feel your anger. There's a time and place for these stories, but when you're just getting to know someone, being overly negative makes people associate you with bad feelings. Over time, they start avoiding you. The golden rule of friendship. If you look at the formula of friendship, Stacy did everything right. She had good proximity, frequency, duration, and intensity, but she constantly broke the golden rule of friendship. And because of that, people slowly started disliking her. Think of the golden rule like a plus or minus sign in front of the formula of friendship. Follow it, and your friendships grow. Break it, and people slowly start to resent you. It's a simple rule, but it must be present in every interaction. Before we talk about body language in depth, there's one more foundational concept I need to teach you. Something so powerful it can double, triple, or even 5 times the speed at which you build friendships and deepen relationships. That concept is value. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next lesson.